One night I was playing Pokemon Legends ZA and I thought to myself, am I being pranked? Because $70 for that is a crime. I feel like some gaming companies are betting that our nostalgia and loyalty will override common sense. They just might be right for now. Let's look at a case study for this. Myself. I saw the trailer for Pokemon ZA and thought, I'm not buying that. Well, I called my sister and we were just talking and she had mentioned, oh, we're actually going to the midnight release for Pokemon ZA tonight. We're getting one for her daughter, my niece. And I hear her in the background saying, Auntie Amber, let's play together. And I did cave. Sue me. I wanted to create that memory with her and it was a really fun time. We stayed the night, played together. The game was absolutely not worth the price, but that memory is priceless to me. A little bit of a disclaimer before we get into the video. I want to make it clear that I'm not telling you what to do with your money. Do what you want with it. I'm not here to judge. I more so just want to create a discussion around this. It's something that I see a lot in comments whenever video games are released, trailers, and I'm curious if this is something that people think will be changed or can be changed. I feel like a lot of us have this kind of tender place in our heart for these video game companies that may be doing us dirty. It's definitely not all of them, but it is some, because they were either our childhood or we have really positive memories associated with these video games that are very close to our hearts. And that's what makes making this video so difficult, is because I obviously don't hate these companies. I have a lot of love for them. I love the memories that they've given me and also just the beautiful stories that I've been able to experience through video games. And yes, even though Nintendo is the one that sparked this realization in me, I really do love their games. Some of you may have seen my top 10 video games of all time video. I made it just because people had been asking me in my videos, so I was like, why not upload it? And a majority of them were Nintendo, and I'm just disappointed in what I'm seeing is all. So to get back to the question, are gaming companies destroying their fan bases by testing how much we will tolerate, and are we letting them? The whole thing that sparked this video, the Nintendo problem. There's a few Reddit posts I want to share with you, and these are from a subreddit called This, and I think the name speaks for itself. But the posts are just from people that are disappointed, and honestly, as I was scrolling, I was like, they're kind of making my points for me. 2025 game from a multi-billion-dollar company, and it's just the flat textures. We're going to talk about this in another post, but it's so much more than just the textures for Pokemon, specifically $70 game that have cardboard cutout windows and flowers. Oh my gosh. This is just insane considering there isn't a major Steam sale right now. I personally have started to become a PC gamer. I was a dedicated, loyal console gamer for a very long time until I started seeing Steam prices and the sales that they have, and it just made it really easy to experience a lot more games. And the variety that's on Steam, I feel like it's just unbeatable. It's definitely my favorite way of playing games now. And Pokemon Legends ZA was $100, including the DLC. My goodness, it is just not worth. I feel like I both know what they were thinking because they were thinking money, but also what were they thinking by creating something that was clearly just so passionless. I think this is Pokemon X and Y, but even that looked better. The game on top costs $70. The game on the bottom is currently on sale for $40. Expedition 33 was so phenomenal, and I honestly couldn't believe that the base price on release was cheaper than Pokemon for the Switch 2, but also the same price for the Switch. Those shouldn't even be remotely close in price, in my opinion. Nintendo fans on a 20-plus-year-old game they already own is made available to purchase again. Unfortunately, I'm probably someone that is guilty of this. The issues that some of these games look like or literally are blown up DS games. I feel a little bit torn with this because Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, $70 for the bundle, $40 separately. For games that are almost 20 years old, released on the Wii, it does look better on the Switch. I just think the price is a little bit ridiculous. I would not pay $40 or $70 for the bundle. Where I am probably guilty is if Fire Emblem Awakening was re-released. My instinct would probably be to buy it, even though I already own it. The thought of playing it on a huge TV versus my tiny 3DS, that's one of my favorite games of all time. I probably would pay $40 for that. I don't know where I stand now with that, but I just think I see their strategy because Mario is a very well-loved game. I don't agree with my thought process behind Fire Emblem. I'm just speaking to one of my favorite games, very nostalgic. Curious what you guys think and what the price you think should be for a game that has some improvements, though they're minor. Let me know. I'm very curious. Talking about Pokemon Legends ZA specifically, this Reddit post I feel like summarized all of the frustrations perfectly, which says Pokemon fans need to stop pretending people only hate Pokemon ZA because of the graphics. 1. Exploration is awful. The entire thing takes place in a worse version of 3DS Lumio City. Yes. 2. The new battle system isn't all that. Real-time battle sounded ambitious, but it ends up clunky and shallow. 3. The art style just looks cheap. It's not just a resolution or texture quality, the art direction itself is extremely lazy. 4. Still no voice acting in 2025. Why even bother with lip sync and body animation but without voices? Utterly absurd, especially for its price. 5. The writing is bland and the story goes nowhere. Dialogue is stiff, the pacing drags, and the story never hits any real emotional beat. Yes. 6. $70 base plus a $30 day one DLC is absurd. 7. Still has performance issues. This was made a few months ago, so I'm not sure if that's still an issue, but overall really disappointing. I don't think there's anything I disagree with. I felt like there was nothing incentivizing me to get through the game. It was a struggle. I think at the beginning it was like, oh, this is fun because it's Pokemon, it's nostalgic, but there's no innovation. The battle zone was fun for like the first night, and then it got really repetitive and boring. The quality is just not there for what I think me and many others feel like it should be at for being the biggest franchise in the world. People feel that generally the Pokemon game quality dipped as early as Gen 4, some saying Gen 5 or 6. Aside from Pokemon, the increase to $80 games for some Switch 2 games, and Nintendo's plans for variable pricing, depending on what they determine to be the game's value, is interesting. If you want a little bit more of a deep dive into that, there is this great YouTube video that I found by Kit and Krista. They have really intriguing commentary because they're people that worked for Nintendo on the communications team, so they wrote a lot of the PR responses that we are getting. They tell you what the red flags are and what they think could be an issue for Nintendo in the future. I found what they said so fascinating, so definitely go check out their video. Microtransactions and DLC. As I was writing this, I realized that I have been a victim to microtransactions since I was young. Growing up, my sister and I loved MMOs. Perfect World, Mabinogi, Maple Story, and in middle school and high school, we spent good amounts of money on the cute outfits and the mounts because that was our main motivation for playing a game, was if there was good character customization. Ultimately, those don't affect gameplay, and that was our choice to spend our money on that. Guilty as charged, and I know that we are part of the problem there. But there are games out there where paying extra does affect the base game playing experience. There are games that do additional content right. Witcher 3 has really high praise for theirs, but then there's ones that are so obviously a cash grab because it has no value add or are just pay to win. So many games have a season pass. Apex, Arc Raiders, COD, Fall Guys, sports games like FIFA are some of the biggest offenders, and you're already paying $70 to get the base game and even more for the season pass. And do not even get me started on mobile games. Supercell, even Genshin Impact and Fortnite got sued by the FTC for violating a children's privacy law, essentially because they were being shady and deceptive with the transactions. Games are actually cheaper than what they used to be, adjusted for inflation. But this is not accounting for all of the microtransactions like we just discussed. There's an article by industry analyst Sam Najee who goes back and does the math, and Sam says that the disconnect is in the value that we are getting as gamers, especially with the additional costs that people are spending hundreds and sometimes thousands of dollars on, or when they're released with so many bugs and are borderline unplayable. Monster Hunter Wilds is a perfect example of that. Gaming companies are saving a lot of money because digital ownership is the majority now. In 2023, the digital ownership was 83%. So they're not having to pay for shipping or manufacturing, and they're making record profits. As a counter argument to that, graphics are much better, budgets are much higher than they used to be. There's games like Call of Duty, Star Citizen that cost hundreds of millions of dollars to produce, and they need to make back their money somehow. And there are a lot of games that do it right, but we're not talking about them in this video. We're talking about the ones that are putting low effort and trying to get every last cent that they can from us, where we leave the game feeling really unfulfilled. I feel like indie games are a great example that leaves us feeling like we really got an amazing experience and more than our money's worth. Hades, Hollow Knight, Celeste, Stardew, 2. I just finished one, Greece. I've been playing Fields of Mystria. These are just such fun games that are just maybe leaving more of an impact on us than a lot of the bigger games, and they're just showing us where the passion is missing. So where does this leave us? I think ultimately for some people this either has or will start to affect whether or not they want to support games that they once loved and had a lot of loyalty to. For others, I don't think it matters. For me, I think as of right now, I don't think anything will be done about this because of how profitable it has been for the gaming industry. I obviously want to support the franchises that I love, but will be more thoughtful about my purchases, especially moving forward. It used to not even be a question for me, but now it will definitely be me evaluating whether or not it's a game I think I would genuinely enjoy. So where do you personally draw the line? Do you think loyalty is wavering enough for there to be an impact on any of this? I feel like so many of us are frustrated, but there's enough people out there that will still keep buying these games. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. If you made it this far, thank you. I post much more frequently on Instagram and TikTok, though I actually want to start posting here weekly. So feel free to follow me on my other socials and subscribe if you aren't already, and I will see you guys in the next video.